Alright, sons, everybody, it's Starrapter here. Welcome to my spoiler-free review for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Black Spire, written by Leia S. Dawson. She might sound familiar to you because she wrote Phasma, which came out about 2 years ago in preparation for The Last Jedi. So this book is all about preparing people for Galaxy's Edge, which is now open in Walt Disney World, has been open for some time in Disneyland. It gives us all this backstory on Batuu. It helps us to understand why this is an important location in Star Wars. So this is pretty much like a pseudo-sequel to Phasma, which is pretty neat because we have the characters of Cardinal, who's now referenced as Archix with his real name, as well as Vi Maradi, who actually appears in the parks. So it's all about the story right after the events of The Last Jedi. This is actually about 4 months after the events of The Last Jedi. As we know, the Resistance is in shambles. There's absolutely no support really for the Resistance at this point. They're trying to build things back up. So we have Leia Organa, who sends one of her best spies, Vi Maradi, to one of these planets, and she chooses Batuu. It's this planet that's far out in wild space, right before you hit like the unknown regions. It so far hasn't had any First Order activities. So Leia is trying to build a base that is somewhere that they can fuel up, arm up against the battle for the galaxy against the First Order. So when Vi first gets to this planet, things start going wrong immediately. They crash land and all this crazy stuff happens. And next thing you know, the First Order arrives. So it's all about Vi Maradi kind of skating the line between recruiting allies for the Resistance as well as trying to avoid the First Order scum and build a base for the Resistance to survive. And well, we see how things end up in the theme park with the Stormtroopers there, and Kylo Ren is there, so you can kind of read between the lines and see what might happen, but it is a lot of fun. I want to talk about the specifics of this book. First off, seeing things from the perspective of Vi Maradi, who has never been to Batuu before, never been to Black Spire Outposts, and we're experiencing this. For those of you that don't have the opportunity to actually see Black Spire Outpost for your own good, with your own eyes, I think this is the best way to do it because there is so much world building in this book that makes this a very important location. We learn that there's these ancient people before the settlers. We learn that there's all these indigenous creatures. We learn a different geography and the different locations of Batuu. We learn the different cultures of people. So it very much is one of the best deep dives in all of Star Wars for a certain location or certain planet. Leia S. Dawson really fleshes out this world, makes it really feel lived in. Also, another thing that really strengthens this story is the fact that the Resistance is being built up on a very small scale level. We have different backgrounds for different characters. We have different aliens like a Shadrafan who's being bullied by their employer. They get pulled into the Resistance. We have a settler that has been on the outskirts of Black Spire Outpost, doesn't know about any aliens or anything. So we have the indigenous species of this planet. We have smugglers that have been impounded on the planet. They all have their own reasons to hate the First Order, to join the Resistance. This book does a great job, just like the Resistance TV series does, of explaining how a Resistance starts. Like, how do you start from literally ground zero? Because that's how the story begins with Vi Maradi and Cardinal, and even their droid, which has a lot of humor. I love the droid, about how you start something from the ground up. Like, she straight up, Vi Maradi has to get her own job. We don't even really see that in Star Wars, like seeing a person go to a day job and do things to get credits to earn what's called a Spire, their currency on Batuu. So getting to see how hard it is for Vi Maradi to get the support of the locals without alerting the First Order and avoiding them at the same time. So really great kind of spy story there, which we haven't seen anything to this extent for being like a spy in Star Wars to this degree. And finally, I was very surprised. So this is put out by Del Rey, which means they can go a little bit more adult with their content, a little bit more mature. And it definitely go here. Leia S. Dawson describes some pretty gruesome scenes with some First Order people, some mercenaries being beheaded, just some gruesome deaths, which I'm not really accustomed to in Star Wars. And it just goes to show, like, oh yeah, this story is more for adults. Yeah, kids can read it, but there's some stuff in here you might have to watch out for. And some things I want to talk about with some negatives. First off is I really love the character of Vi Maradi. I do feel, though, she is too reminiscent of certain female characters you might have seen already in Star Wars before. She does have a lot of similarities with Dr. Aphra, but I mean that can kind of be a good thing, and to an extent she does feel like a little bit derivative of some characters we've already seen. Another character, this villain of Kath, he is a First Order officer. He is your stereotypical villain through and through. There's not a whole lot of depth there. He is your First Order scum that just hates everything, and everything he has a bad attitude with, and there's no reason for it. So I mean that's what Delilah S. Dawson was aiming for, creating this arch villain, and she certainly did the job there. So with that being said, I'm going to give Black Spire a score of an 8 out of 10, which marks it just a little bit higher for me on my scale than Phasma. So I think Delilah S. Dawson really has Star Wars down to a T, especially in this tale. There's lots of adventure to be had. It's a very simple story, but I kind of need that right now after going through Alphabet Squadron and Thrawn Treason, which were both very heavy books. So this is kind of a nice palate cleanser. And to me, it is the best story around Galaxy's Edge, around Black Spire. We have had quite a few other books, some young readers, some young adult novels. There still is one coming out, which is called The Force Collector, which I believe will be on Batuu. But yeah, so far, if you guys can't get to Batuu anytime soon, definitely pick up this book, because you're really going to understand from the perspective of a newcomer what this location is all about. So what'd you guys think of Black Spire? Have you read it? Do you plan on picking it up? Let's talk about it all in the comment section below. For more on Star Wars, make sure you stick around, because I'm going to be having lots coming in the future. We got the Fallen Order video game, we have The Mandalorian, we have The Rise of Skywalker, so much Star Wars content. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe, and please hit that notification icon, because then you're going to be notified when videos go up right away. So that's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also included 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.